Hello everybody, my name is Andrew Wiper and I'm the Managing Director of BGC, Basra Gas Company. Firstly, we'd like to welcome you to BGC. This is a video of around 30 to 45 minutes, which is an site induction video, the only mandatory video that you will see whilst you are here. BGC is a joint venture in southern Iraq, located in Basra, between the government of Iraq, represented by South Gas Company, Shell and Mitsubishi. As you go around, you'll see we're a large venture, with lots and lots of cultures and lots of diversity. Please take your time, always work safe, and we look forward to seeing you go home safely. BGC is one of the largest gas flaring reduction projects in the world, pursuing the goal of no harm to people. In BGC we commit to protect the environment. It is part of BGC's core values. Use materials and energy in a more efficient manner to provide products and services. Respect our neighbours and contribute to society in which we operate. Develop energy resources, products and services that are consistent with these aims. Play a leading role in being the safest, most reliable and highly performing Iraqi gas company. Manage HSSE and social performance processes as any other critical business activity. Promote a culture in which all BGC employees and contractors share the same commitment and comply with the 9 life-saving rules, which are mandatory rules. Violations of these rules may result and lead to consequence management. I encourage everybody to intervene politely if you see any safety concern, unsafe act or condition or life-saving rule breach. In this way, we aim to have a HSSE and SP performance we can be proud of, to earn the confidence of our customers, shareholders and society at large, and be a good neighbour to contribute to the sustainable development of the country. Further information on our standards and the rules we can follow can be found in the BGC Work Management Procedures, which are available in both Arabic and English. Please enjoy your induction.
Hello and welcome to the Safety Induction. In this video we will talk about BGC's area of operations and the asset hazards that relate to health, safety and environment, what BGC's HSSE and ASPE commitment and policy requires of you. We will overview BGC's work management procedures. We will also cover driving safely and journey management, the 9 IRGP life-saving rules adapted by BGC and their requirements, the minimum personal protective equipment requirements in BGC, what to do if you come across explosive remnants of war or ERWs, what you need to know before commencing any work at BGC site locations, including access requirements in process areas, and what to do in the event of an emergency, BGC HSC training requirements, and HSC reporting and environmental awareness. BGC area of operations and assets. Our area of operations in BGC span 4 main concessions or field areas. These are West Kurna 1, North Rumaila, South Rumaila, and Zubair. Hazards to health, safety and environment, HSC. Within these areas, several HSC hazards are present within our operations. These HSC hazards include process safety hazards, personal safety hazards, transport hazards, explosive remnants of war hazards, security hazards, and environmental risks or hazards. BGC commitment and policy on HSSE and ASPE. In BGC, our corporate management system is based upon a BGC commitment and policy to HSSE. This has been endorsed by our MD, Andrew Wiper. It commits all of us at BGC to pursue a goal of no harm to people and to protect the environment. Goal 0 is our first priority. This means no harms and no leaks. We all want and should expect to go home safely every day. This means safety is a responsibility for everybody who works for BGC, whether you are staff, a secondee, or a contractor for BGC. First time arrival at a BGC location. When arriving at a BGC site for the first time, you should familiarize yourself with the site-specific requirements, including safety inductions, location of emergency exits, site alarms in the event of an incident, and muster points. Always confirm if you need a site-specific orientation with an experienced person when arriving to a site for the first time. And ask the site security team to explain the freedom of movement constraints within and around the site. And make sure you know where the explosive remnants of war or ERW cleared areas are, and that you stay within these areas at all times. for your own safety. Work Management Procedures, WMP. The BGC Work Management Procedures, or WMP, is a manual of 32 procedures that sets out our HSE requirements and expected working practices in BGC to keep our people safe. Some of the WMP we will overview further during this induction video. The 32 WMP are applicable to everyone, including staff, secondees and contractors. They are also applicable to all BGC work locations that involve hazardous activities with personal safety exposure. You are strongly encouraged to familiarize yourself with the WMP. They are also available in both Arabic and English, and in paper copy or as an electronic file. Driving Safety and Journey Management. WMP Section 4 outlines the requirements for driving safety and journey management. This WMP, along with the requirements of WMP Section 13, Hazard Identification, asks that we each, before starting any journey, challenge ourselves to apply the hierarchy of control. Consider, first, can the journey be avoided? Is the journey necessary? Second, can we combine the journey? Third, what is the safest mode of transport? The following requirements must be met for all driving on BGC business. Have a valid driver's license for the type of class of vehicle. The driver must have completed a BGC defensive driving training course or any BGC approved and accredited defensive driving training. International Association of Oil and Gas Producers 9 Life-Saving Rules. The 9 BGC life-saving rules have been adopted from the International Association of Oil and Gas Producers and are a set of must-follow basic rules that are there to save our life and the lives of others. The 9 BGC life-saving rules are also referenced in the BGC WMP. According to IOGP, between 2008 and 2020, there are about 437 people who lost their lives in fatal incidents. These incidents might have been prevented by following the 9 life-saving rules. BGC firmly believes that no loss of life due to an accident at work is acceptable, so strict adherence to life-saving rules is compulsory for all of us. Not complying with the life-saving rules can result in disciplinary action. Remember that the life-saving rules are not a replacement for management systems, competent people, site rules or procedures, but when barriers fail, following them can still provide a final safety barrier to help keeping us safe. Let's now go through the specific requirements for each of the 9 life-saving rules we must follow here at BGC. Life-saving Rule 1. Bypassing safety controls. You must obtain authorization before overriding or disabling any safety controls. Following the requirements of the bypassing safety controls LSR means I understand and use safety critical equipment and procedures which apply to my task. I obtain the necessary authorizations before disabling or overriding any safety equipment, deviating from procedures, or crossing a barrier. Life-saving Rule 2. Confined space. You must obtain authorization before entering confined space. Following the requirements for the confined space LSR means I confirm energy sources are isolated. I confirm the atmosphere has been tested and is monitored. I check and use my breathing apparatus when required. I confirm there is an attendant standing by. I confirm a rescue plan is in place. I obtain authorization to enter. Life-saving Rule 3. Driving. You must follow the safe driving rules. Following the requirements for the safe driving LSR means I always wear a seatbelt. I do not exceed the speed limit and reduce my speed for road conditions. I do not use phones or operate devices while driving. I am fit, rested and fully alert while driving. And I follow journey management requirements. Life-saving Rule 4. Energy isolation. You must verify isolation and zero energy before work begins. Following the requirements for energy isolation LSR rule means I have identified all energy sources. I confirm the hazardous energy sources have been isolated, marked and tagged. And I have checked there is zero energy and tested for residual or stored energy. Life-saving Rule 5. Hot work. Life-saving Rule 5 sets out the requirements when undertaking hot work, and the controls you must apply when working around flammable materials and ignition sources. Following the requirements for the hot work LSR rule means I identify and control ignition sources. Before starting any hot work, I confirm flammable material has been removed or isolated, and I obtain authorization. Before starting hot work in a hazardous area, I confirm a gas test has been completed, and that gas will be monitored continually using a personal gas monitoring detector. Life-saving Rule 6. Line of fire. You must keep yourself and others out of the line of fire. Following the requirements for the line of fire LSR rule means I position myself to avoid moving objects, vehicles, pressure releases, and dropped objects. I establish and obey barriers and exclusion zones, and I take action to secure loose objects and report potential dropped objects. Life-saving Rule 7. Safe mechanical lifting. You must plan any lifting operations and control the area. Following the requirements for the safe mechanical lifting LSR rule means I confirm that the equipment and load have been inspected and are fit for purpose. I only operate equipment that I am qualified to use. I establish and obey barriers and exclusion zones, and I never walk under a suspended load. Life-saving Rule 8. Work authorization. You must work with a valid permit when required. Following the requirements for the work authorization LSR rule means I have confirmed if a permit is required. I am authorized to perform the work. I understand the permit requirements. I have confirmed that hazards are controlled and it is safe to start the work. And I stop and reassess the situation if conditions change. Life-saving Rule 9. Working at height. You must protect yourself against a fall when working at height. Following the requirements for the working at height LSR rule means I inspect my fall protection equipment before use. I secure tools and work materials to prevent dropped objects. And I tie off 100% to approved anchor points while outside a protected area. Personal protective equipment, PPE. Let's now talk about what attire you should be wearing when going onto a BGC worksite. The minimum personal protective equipment, or PPE, requirements when working in a BGC process area are set out in our work management procedures. These include coveralls, which must be long-sleeved and fire retardant, a safety helmet, hearing protection such as safety earmuffs or safety earplugs, safety glasses, safety boots and safety gloves. There are also other PPE that may be required depending on the task you are carrying out. For example, safety harnesses will be required if you are working at height. Safety equipment must be specified in the job hazard analysis or risk assessment that supports your permit to work. Refer to WMP Section 26 for more details. Always remember, your PPE is your last line of defense against injury. All the controls and precautions must be adhered to rigidly to keep you safe at work. Explosive remnants of war, ERWs. Iraq has gone through wars in the past, and in the south of Iraq, there remains the risk of explosive remnants of war. ERW requirements are set out in WMP Section 8. If you recognize an ERW, you must take the following steps. Stop. Do not touch or try to remove the ERW. Warn other people around you. Mark around the immediate area. Immediately report the ERW to your line manager so appropriate action can be promptly taken to assess the ERW risk. Commencing work at a BGC work location. As mentioned, site-specific HSC orientation is required by all personnel before starting work. Verify with your supervisor, site HSC lead, that you have the correct authorization to start the job. For example, work permit. Make sure you understand the HSC hazards associated with your work. Verify that you have the appropriate training to conduct the job. Ensure you are using the correct PPE. Do a final check on your job hazard analysis, risk assessment, to confirm you are safe to start. Training passport. Your training passport can be obtained from L&D after completing the mandatory HSC induction training. Always carry your training evidence or training passport. You may be refused site entry if you do not have your training passport. Emergency response. You can find details on emergency response in WMP Section 5. Make yourself familiar with the site-specific emergency response system and muster points on hearing an alarm. Immediately stop work, stop vehicles, and stop any powered equipment. Make the work site safe and proceed to the nearest, safest muster point. At the muster point, immediately make yourself known to the muster point checker. Follow instructions of this person. Experienced personnel are expected to assist in guiding and supporting new staff and visitors to mustering stations. Site alarms are tested regularly. Ensure you know the day and timing for your worksite location. Emergencies should be immediately reported to EROP, which is the Emergency Response Operations Center. The number is indicated in red. Call 07 809 213 970. Please take a moment to save this number in your mobile phone. Access requirements to process areas. You must complete all mandatory HSC training, which we will cover further shortly. The Site HSC Advisor or Site Management can advise you on any specific BGC HSC training requirements. Before accessing any BGC process area, you must inform the appropriate operations personnel of your visit, site control room. Use the designated access roads. Do not enter any process areas by crossing over designated safety barriers. All ignition sources such as lighters and non-explosive electronic devices, such as your personal mobile phone or camera, must be left at a suitable location outside the process area. HSC training. The following HSC training requirements are applicable to BGC sites. BGC HSC site induction is mandatory for all locations. H2S training is mandatory for all sites with H2S risks. H2S areas are indicated by yellow signs. Permit to work training. Permit to work level 1, permit user. Permit to work level 2, permit applicant. Person in charge of worksite. BTEX awareness training is required for all sites with BTEX risks, such as CAS or NRNGL, and also at a number of compressor stations. Managing the risks associated with BTEX are set out in the WMP and must be included in the PTW. There are also other activity-related HSC trainings. These are stipulated in the relevant BGC WMPs. If in doubt, check with your line manager. HSC reporting. You can find the requirements for HSC reporting in the WMP Section 18. We want everyone to go home safe and work in a safe environment. You have a responsibility to report any incident, unsafe acts or conditions to your supervisor or site HSC lead. Remember, We each have the authority and duty to intervene when we see any unsafe behaviours or conditions, and we can all learn from incidents, near misses, or life-saving rule violations. For this reason, all incidents, near misses, or LSR violations must be reported into BGC's incident reporting system, called Sphere Cloud, for investigation. We also recognise the importance of catching people doing the right thing, and all staff, secondees or contractors are also encouraged to use the Goal Zero intervention cards for reporting safe acts, conditions, positive peer-to-peer interventions. Lastly, all contractors must use the HSC Management System portal for submitting their monthly HSC statistics. Environmental awareness. We each have a responsibility to conserve our use of energy and help manage our climate and local air quality impacts. You make a difference by ensuring you turn off equipment when not in use. This includes simple steps such as switching off lights in buildings when not in use. Don't leave vehicles idling, and switch off equipment such as temporary diesel generators when not in use. We can each play a role in helping reduce our water usage by switching off water taps when not in use and promptly reporting any leaks you may see to your supervisor. We each also contribute to generating and managing our waste. Do not pollute the environment by throwing solid or waste. Only use designated waste bins provided. Remember, when possible, follow the waste hierarchy of eliminate, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Remember, we each can help minimize our waste footprint in BGC, and the sum of even small steps such as using reusable water bottles can make a difference to the waste volume we generate. HSC Induction Test. Thank you for taking the time to review the BGC Corporate HSC Induction. For BGC staff, secondees, and contractors, please now pause this presentation and take the HSC Induction Test. For site visitors, there is no requirement to take this test.
So thank you very much for your attention. Thanks for watching the induction and playing your part in keeping BGC a safer place to work. Have a very safe day and a productive time whilst working on BGC facilities.